Hello, my name is John Sayer, Technical Marketing Manager, Civil Infrastructure here at Autodesk. Today I'd like to take you through virtual reality creation using the AEC collection. We're going to go through what I'm calling VR Level 2, and this is part 3 of the series, talking about land development projects to VR. So let's go ahead and start part 3, where we're going to make the ground transparent so that we can see our utilities and things of that nature underneath the pavement, the grass, anything that would be covering up our utilities. Let's get started. In the last episode, part 2, we brought in everything from 3ds Max that we wanted for our model to populate into 3ds Max Interactive so that we could go ahead and create our VR. Now in doing that, we did some things here in 3ds Max Interactive. We set our static physics, we created our player start, we edited our project Lua file, which was how we edited what default level it comes in on, and we edited the functionality teleport flow editor. And we could literally have gone and selected the deployer here, and we could have deployed this VR, and we could have opened it up in the HTC Vive environment, and we could have hopped around using our teleport, and we'd have been fine. But let's take it to the next level, because we've got some utilities that are over here that I'd like to be able to see just by the click of a trigger on an HTC Vive hand controller. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of scroll back here. I'm going to spin this around. Let me select something, and then I'll hit F, and I'll go ahead and scroll back around a little bit more, and I'll zoom in. Let me select something else and hit F, and I'll scroll on in. Now you can see here that I have a pipe. All right, now that tells me that there is a pipe system in here. We know from our last episode, part 2, that there was a pipe system that we had put in here. So let's jump in here and let's show you the workflow, how we can make this asphalt. We'll just start with the asphalt here, how we can make it transparent by the click of a trigger on a HTC Vive controller. All right, so I'm going to select the unit that I want to make transparent. All right, so I select that unit, and then I'm going to go to the level flow tab. All right, this tab is going to be empty. All right, and it's kind of tough to know how to start. All right, so this is the easiest way I know to tell you to start. If you basically select the unit that you want to work with, you have to create what's called a level unit. All right, so if I right click with that asphalt selected, it'll say create level unit. All right, and that is the initial unit that I want to start with. I want to work with this asphalt unit. All right, the asphalt unit has a material, it has a texture, it has everything is, so it has a mesh. So that's the unit that we want to use. It's selected in the viewport, the level viewport, so it will automatically create that if we just right click and select create level unit. All right, that's the first step. Now that unit name, if I hover here, is asphalt 01 underscore NS. All right, and we need to remember that. We're going to use that here in just a little bit. So if I hit my tab key, I can type in get mesh unit. All right, now, or get unit mesh, I'm sorry, get unit mesh. I do that every time too. I'll select get unit mesh. All right, and there's some things that we need to start connecting. So we connect unit to unit, so unit to unit. All right, once we connected this unit, we can select mesh name, and the mesh for that unit will show up. So we can select it and hit OK, and we're good to go. Now the next flow node that we need to bring in is set mesh slot material. All right, so I'm going to hit tab, I'm going to type set mesh slot material. All right, several things we need to fill out here. Number one, we need to always connect unit to unit. If anything has a unit connection, we need to connect our unit to it. All right, I'm going to pull this down and try and make it as clean as I can. So I'll connect the unit to unit and mesh to mesh. Now, our slot name is what we need to add next. So our slot name is basically going to be the name of our unit. So I'm going to type in asphalt 01 underscore NS. All right, now I'll hit OK. Now, at this point, we need to actually create our transparent material. So we have our material that was generated for the asphalt, but we need to actually create a transparent material for that same asphalt so that we can tell it to switch to it. So I'm going to select here my parent folder, and I can go down to content, and notice that under models that this has changed to a max folder. Remember, I talked a little bit about that in part 1, that it would give you either the name of your max file or a max folder. The max folder is where we need to be. That's where our textures and materials are going to be. I can just search for asphalt, and my asphalt material shows up. All right, so I've got asphalt 01 underscore NS. All right, so I can right click on that material and I can hit duplicate. All right, and it creates a duplicate of that material. Now I would select that material, make sure it's selected, right click and rename it, because we're going to rename it something that we can search. So I'm going to rename it underscore, or backspace the 1 off of the NS, and hit an underscore and type in trans and hit enter. And it's going to prompt us to save, so we'll just save. All right, now once it saves this material, I can select it and go to the property editor. We're going to select the folder here, the select resource button, or folder, select resource folder, and we will do a search for trans. All right, it will bring up the standard transparent version of that, and that's what we need to select for our transparent material. I'll hit OK, and then it gives us some more options. So it gives us the opacity option. So under opacity, I'm going to change that to 0.3. And if I hit enter, you can see this material goes transparent. That's what we want. So after that's set, we go up and hit save, and it saves our material. Now, back here in our set mesh slot material, I can select resource, and I can again type in trans, and it will search and narrow down, and I'll be able to find very easy that material I just created. I hit OK. Now I have to do this again, because this is, we're gonna control this by this set mesh slot material, and then we have to create another one to have it go back to the original material so that it's not transparent. All right, so that's very simple. We can select it, right click and hit copy, and then just paste it back in. And we got to do our housekeeping first. We need to connect the unit to unit, all right, and our mesh to mesh. I'll move this around a little bit. All right, and then our slot name is the same. The only thing that's different is the material itself. So if I type in asphalt, you can see there's our original material. So I'll hit OK, and we are good to go for that part of the setup. Now, how do I want to control this? Well, I can do it with a keyboard button. All right, I'm going to show you that real quick. So if I hit tab and I type in keyboard, we have to have something to control it in the beginning to make sure that this part is set up correctly, and the keyboard's a pretty good way to do that. So I'm going to back this off a little bit, and when the keyboard, actually let's go ahead and do this. Let's tell it the button name we're going to use. So I'm going to click the button name, and I'm going to type in just a T and hit OK. So when I hit the T button, I press the T button, it's going to make it transparent by connecting pressed to in. All right. Now, if I select that keyboard button, right click and copy, and I paste that back in, I'll pan up a little bit here so you can see a little bit better. And I select release, because we're going to release that T button. I want it to go back to the original material. So the rest of this we can leave alone. So we can test this right now. All right, so I'm going to go back to my level viewport, and I'm going to select test level. What this will do is it'll allow us to see if we've got everything set up correctly. All right, so I can just hit my T button, and you can see that the pipe networks underneath the pavement show up. So I released it and it went away. It went back to the original material. If I select it, it's highlighted again, or actually it just sees through it. It's showing through that transparent material. But you can also see that the grass areas are still covering up my pipes, so they're not transparent. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of my test level, and I'm going to go to level flow. All right. Now you have to create a flow like this for every material that pipe network is underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that real quick. All right, so I'll go to level viewport. I'll select my grass here. Now notice there's grass here and there's grass here. We're just going to do this grass in the islands for this demonstration. It would be the same workflow for this grass here. All right, same thing. We selected that grass in the islands. I can right click and hit create level unit for grass. All right, so I'll zoom up and I will type get unit mesh. All right, and I'll move that up and I'll connect unit to unit. And I'll go ahead and select my mesh, grass, and hit OK. Now I'll go ahead and select tab again and I'll type set mesh slot material. All right, and I'll do some housekeeping. I'll connect unit to unit and I'll connect mesh to mesh. And I'll give it a slot name. This slot name will be grass. All right, now we're back to the point where we got to select our resource, which is our transparent material. So here in our search results, where we were before, we're still in that same folder. So I can clear the current search and I can type in grass. I can select that material, right click and select duplicate, and it duplicates that material. Notice it's called it grass 1. I'll right click on that and rename it. Backspace out the 1 and say underscore trans, and I'll save. Now again, same steps as before. We need to select grass trans and then go over here and change our parent resource to that transparent resource. So I'll type in trans and I can see transparent and I hit OK. Once that happens, it gives me the opacity selection. So I'll type in 0.3 at that point and I'll go ahead and save and I'm good to go. All right, now I can add that as a resource. So I go up to resource there, my set mesh slot material, and I type in trans. All right, and you can see that grass transparent material. Hit OK. Now again, we need to select the same set mesh slot material and hit copy, and we'll paste that node back in, and we'll change. Actually, let's do our housekeeping. We'll connect unit to unit and mesh to mesh. Our slot name is the same as our slot name above. So I just need to change to the material. So that's just grass. So I can select it and hit OK. And then all we have left to do is just connect our keyboard buttons. So I can actually copy these and paste them back up here because we'll use the same keyboard button. And when it's pressed, I want it to make it transparent. And when it's released, I want it to make it the original material, non-transparent. So now let's test this and see if we've got it connected correctly. So if I go to level viewport and I test my level, all right, I can see my level. And if I hit T, you can see that I can see my structures now. They were underneath the grass, so I can see them underneath the grass. Now, if you have a hard time seeing this, all you have to do is I can kind of move back a little bit, select something and hit F, and then I can zoom in a little bit tighter. All right, and then you test your level and it'll be at that zoom range. And we can hit T and you can see those inlets very well. Now notice that the bottom at the outlet pipe, it's still underneath that other piece of that other area of grass. So we would have to create the same flow node for that. Now, this could be taken care of by exporting out the coverages differently in InfraWorks, and I just didn't go back and change that. So it just created a little bit of extra work for me here in Level Flow, but that's okay. All right, one last thing is I want to set up a Steam VR controller button. All right. Now, the Steam VR controller button is accessed by, if you just right-click here in the Level Flow area, drop down to Steam VR and select Input and Steam VR button. All right. So we have to connect pressed to our transparent material. All right. The button name that we're going to use is the trigger. All right. So you're going to squeeze the trigger on the controller. The controller index is 1. And that's all we set up for just this second. Now we're going to connect, or actually we're going to grab and copy that same button. All right, and we will say released is going to go to our original material. And I could move these things around so that things aren't overlapping. All right, and it's the same button, the same controller index 1. Now we have to tell it that it needs to update the level whenever either the trigger is pressed or released. All right, so it's kind of an update event. All right, so if we type tab, or we hit our tab key and type in level update, all right, that means there's going to be an event. So we just connect update to out and update to out. All right, now once we have deployed this and opened it up in the HTC Vive, then when we squeeze the trigger on the controller number 1, I guess basically, and I don't know a way to tell you which one's controller number 1. You probably have to mark them once you've run this VR, but you can squeeze that trigger and the ground will go transparent. And if you release it, it will go back to the original material. All right, so that's the flow. And we can go back to our level viewport and we can save this. Just hit save all and save selected. And that's going to save our environment for us. That is all for part 3 of our workflow. That's basically all you have to do to create a transparent surface so that you can see through it, so that you can see your utilities. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching and hope you have a great day.